we've got 7 out of 12 here. Got one of the online students who's there taking the test. Okay, folks, let's finish up chapter 13, corporations. Now, we practice splitting dividends in corporations. We practice selling common stock and preferred stock. And we practice buying back treasury stock and selling treasury stock. That's what's in the chapter. One thing we haven't practiced a whole lot of is dividends distributable, okay? Real quickly, we've got 2 problems. Alicia, what were those 2 problems I asked you to try for today, chapter 13?
I think you just said to do problem 13-4A for a bonus problem.
4A for a bonus problem, yes. Now, we had already done 1A and 3A, hadn't we? All right, so we're going to look at that 4A, and we're going to close out this chapter until test time. So please review it. How about, Amy, how about Cengage on chapter 13? Where are you?
Not done, but I'm working on it. I'm about halfway done with it.
Anybody all the way done with it? What percent, Alicia?
Like 35. I have had like 3 kids in the past like 3 days.
Must be a lot in it.
In a lot. There's 38 questions in every chapter on Cengage this semester so far.
And
I
they
know.
take forever.
They're,
Each one takes 20 minutes.
yeah.
So,
That's to put you through it, isn't it? Remember, that's one of your grades. It helped everybody, almost everybody last semester pulled up your grade. Anyway, look at this one problem. And I said that would be a bonus. So on number 13-4A, page 666. That's not a good page, is it? Anyway, does anybody have that problem? All right, did you do it, Brooke? Okay. Did you do it, Amy? Okay.
I released a message you told me.
You do it, Lisa? Praise?
I did part
Part of it.
Yeah. I was too busy on Cengage.
Oh,
You know, like that. Last night.
Lon, did you do it?
You weren't here.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
All right. 3 of you have to complete. Let's go over it real quick first, and I'll take that up, and I'll give you a bonus for that. It'd be nice to have these bonuses when test time comes around. But some of you may feel like you do well enough on the test that you don't need a bonus, or you don't even do too well on Cengage, but that's not going to be too likely. Okay, let's see what 4A has to offer. Paid cash dividends of 8 cents a share on common stock. The dividend had been properly recorded when declared on December 1 for $28,000. So just to pay that, Brooke, we debit what?
I did the wrong question. I don't know.
You didn't do 4A?
I did it wrong.
All right, Amy, did you do 4A?
Yeah, that's what I did.
All right, well, what's your first answer? First entry.
I don't think I did it right.
Alicia, do you have that entry?
Yeah,
What have you got?
I got debit, cash dividends payable, and credit cash.
You know,
That's the first part.
one of the easiest entries in that chapter. It told you how much. It told you that been declared in the past when we debited, cash dividends debit and credit cash dividends payable. Now we're paying them. Alright, easy entry. Now, we issued 75,000 shares of common stock for $24 a share. Well, common stock, we can look up there and we can see that it's $20 par stated value. So we sold it for a premium. Amy, have you found your entries yet? What is that
I
one?
didn't do that part. I only did the first half. I don't know why, but I only did the first half.
Well, the first half entered the January balances in the accounts. And the main part of the problem was journalized. Now, if you did this first part up here, Amy, you have the journal entries in these T accounts.
I do.
All right, well, what did you, on the 10th, what did you debit? What did you credit?
I don't know what I did. Never mind. Wait a minute.
All right, somebody multiply 75,000 times $24.
1.8 million
Yeah, there you go.
All right, and we'll debit what for that?
cash.
All right, but do we have a cash account up there? Amy, I don't even see a cash account.
I think that's why I'm confused.
And we would credit common stock for how much? 75,000 times $20 a share is how much? What's 75,000 times 20?
1.5 million.
All right, now you can see that here. April the 10th, credit common stock 1.5 million. And what do we credit for the other 300,000? Paid in capital. Now I don't see the cash account on here, but we debit cashed in for 1.8 billion. All right, but right here is the best way to look at it. It's a journal entry.
I didn't do journal entry.
Journal entry, and then you put them in those T accounts. All right, we sold all of the treasury stock for $26 a share. Well, we'd paid $18 for it. We had paid $18 for it. We're selling it for $26, so that's an $8 gain. All right, so we're going to debit cash for the total sale price, credit treasury stock for $18 a share, and credit paid in capital for the difference, which would be $8 a share. Now, those are three generic entries you must know before the next test. Still don't see Carl Cooper, Marcus, or Tony Hood, or Natasha. Natasha's probably dropped by the wayside. I thought she was doing pretty good to not have had accounting for a few years. Is Tony Hood on the basketball team or not? He actually plays? Okay. Well, they're not going anywhere this morning, are they? All right, the next entry. Now, pay close attention to this one. Declared a 4% stock dividend on common stock to be capitalized. All right, 4% of how many shares? How many shares did we have issued up there? $375,000, right? Now keep up with that. 375,000 issued. Now we had 25,000 of treasury stock, but we sold all of that treasury stock, didn't we? So we subtract out the treasure stock, 25, we add it back, so 375. Now take 5%, 4% of that 375. Take 4% of 375.
15,000.
How much?
15,000.
Shares. All right. Now when you multiply that 16,000 shares by the par value of $20 or stated value, and then you multiply it by 25. Alicia, what is your entry on this problem?
That's two ideas, right? I got stock dividends debited for 450,000, stock dividends distributable for 360,000, and funding capital in excess of stated value common stock, 90,000 credit.
All right, here's your entry. That's an important entry, folks, because we haven't covered that, this month, this semester. Okay. All right. Issued these certificates for the dividend declared on July the 5th. Well, we just have to debit stock dividends distributable and credit common stock. Now, know those two entries. We haven't dealt with them that much. And we purchased 30,000 shares of treasure stock. When we purchased treasure stock, whether you did this problem or not, what do you debit? Anybody, what do you debit? Treasure stock, credit cash. Anybody can multiply, hopefully. All right, we declared a 10-cent per share dividend on common stock. Well, we had 375, and Alicia, how many did we issue on that stock dividend? Was it 16,000?
15.
All right, add that to 375. And we just bought back 30 more. Add that stock dividend, subtract the treasury stock. Now, how many shares do we have? Anybody?
Subtract the 30.
Yeah, subtract 30. What does that leave you?
360,000.
360. Multiply that by how much? 10 cents, right?
36,000.
Well, 375,000. Wait a minute. Where did the 75 come from? Did we sell? Oh boy, on April the 10th, we didn't add the 75, Alicia. Gotta add the 75. Then you gotta add the 18 and subtract the 30. So add 75 to whatever you had, Alicia. How what does that give you? 400?
435.
435. Well, if you multiply 435 by 10 cents, what do you get? You sure it's not 438?
So 375 plus
Plus 75 plus 18 minus 30. Does that leave you 438? Multiply that by 10 cents and you get 43,800. So you're going to have to keep up with your stock when we do this on a test. Now, we closed the two dividend accounts. Now, we haven't had closing interest before, but you take dividends out of retained earnings. You debit retained earnings and credit stock dividends and credit cash dividends. All that comes out of retained earnings. Just like drawing. You debit drawing, you debit capital, and you credit drawing. You give it a zero balance, but you take it out of capital. Retained earnings here is your capital. It's going to be a hard test, folks. That test to be a hard test. Probably from this day on, if you have attendance and not tardy, I'll probably let you use some notes on the test. If you have good attendance and you're not tardy, I'll let you use notes on the test. Now, we're going to need it. You're going to need it, okay? I have really suspicion that somebody on this last test cheated, and I gotta do everything I can to keep from cheating happening on the second test. I don't know if it be cell phones, or we get a copy of an old test, or I don't know. But I do suspect cheating, at least one person on the last test, and I'll do everything I can on the second test to prevent that. If I have to make up 12 different tests for one thing, individual test for everybody, cell phones laying on my podium, or if I have to sit beside of you while you're taking the test, I will not have cheating. Okay? All right, not accusing anybody. If you didn't cheat, you shouldn't let it. You should let it go in one ear and out the other. If you did cheat, you'd be concerned, because there will not be cheating on this next test. All right, so study. All right.
We're going to do a retained earnings statement in the stockholders' equity.
Probably not, but you may have to do a stockholders' equity section. Okay. So, anyhow, chapter 14 is a tough chapter. That's why we're going to let, if you have good attendance and you're not tardy, to let you use some notes. And you'll need notes on these two chapters. Now, chapter 14 is on bonds. And I told you this is the last. Chapter 13, 14, 15 are the three hardest chapters. Then it gets easier. And these chapters coming up on cash flow and ratios, it will help you in finance. My principal students are taking finance now, and they're doing great. They say it's just accounting, it's what we already had. And they appreciate what they've had in accounting because it helps them in another course or two. All right, now, bonds or stock, we finance with the two. Now, we can issue bonds at a face amount. Now, I went through some PowerPoints with you, I want to look at the book with you, which is about the same. If you got your book, follow with me on page 682. If you don't have a book, I'm going to try to show it to you. Now, the generic interest for a bond is pretty much given here. We sold bonds with debit cash with credit bonds payable. That's the easiest bond entry you can have. All right, we paid interest expense for 6 months. Debit interest expense and credit cash. All right, we're paying off the bonds with debit bonds payable, credit cash. Now, we don't always sell bonds for the face amount. Now, what is the face amount of a bond? I've preached that 2 different days now. What's the face amount of a bond? A corporate bond. $10, $1,000 is the face amount of a bond. Now, if a bond is quoted at 94, it's going to sell for how much? 94, it will sell for how much? 940. All right. If a bond is quoted at 101, it will sell for how much? 101. That's 101%. Times 1,000. That'd be $1,010. All right. So you can sell bonds at a discount or at a premium. Now, I was showing you a little bit about present future value. I'll show you a little bit about present future value. Bonds are based on that present value that I was showing you in the last part of class on Tuesday. Present value of a bond. All right. And we talked about present value, past value, and future value. Now, bonds issued at a discount. You use those present value tables. We could calculate this amount, 94,456. That's what those tables are used for in the back of your book to calculate the present value of a bond. Now, this bond, you're going to have to pay back $100,000 no matter what. If you sell it for 90 or what, you're going to pay back 100. If you sell it for 110, you're still only going to pay back 100. You're only going to pay interest on 100,000. Now, interest is paid how often on bonds? How often is interest paid on bonds? Semi-annual. Now, when corporations get a bond issue approved by the Securities and Exchange Commission and so forth, they may come out paying 5% on their bonds. But things have changed, and the new rate is 6%. The market rate is 6%. Well, you're going to sell your bonds at a discount to attract people to buy them. And that's why you sell at a discount. The market rate does not match the bond rate. All right? And we have to take care of that difference. Okay, so here you have a discount of 15. I guess that's 24. It's a little weird. Now, these bonds are good for how long? Does it say? All right, 12%, right? What's half of that? What's half of 12%? 6. What's 6% of 100, 1,000? 6,000, right? That'd be your interest. All right. All right, look at this entry. We know where the 6,000 comes from. Cash. You pay 6% on the $100,000 worth of bond. All right, 6% on $100,000. Okay. Now, where does the 359.40 come from? Well, take that discount. Take that discount of 3,594. Take that discount and divide it by 10. 5 years is 10 periods, and you'll get 359. So this is called the straight line method. It will be this amount every payment, 10 times, 2 times a year. It will be this same identical entry if you're using the straight line method to amortize that discount. Now, what does the discount do to your interest expense? What does it do? Look up there. Does it take your interest expense up or down? All right. Your expense should have only been 6,000. Your interest expense, but you sold these at a discount. You got to turn that discount into an expense also, and that makes your interest expense higher. Now the reverse of that would be a premium. Hey, our bonds is paying 10%. Everybody else's bonds is paying 8. If you want our bonds, you pay us a premium. And you were selling bonds for a premium of 3,700. I don't know if that's 69 or whatever there. You can see that in your book. Now, a premium works the same way, except it reduces your real interest expense. We know the interest is 6,000. When we amortize that premium, our real interest expense goes down to 56.23. All right, I want everybody to practice a little exercise before we continue. I want you to practice those entries that we just now did. All right, look at exercise 6. Exercise 6. All right, see if you can do instruction 1 and 2. Give me 2 journal entries. I just showed them to you from your book. How to amortize those discounts. Okay, I want everybody to write down 2 journal entries. Exercise 6. So that'll be your second entry. Okay, now if we're looking at that exercise, Smiley Corporation, repair products to equipment manufactured. Okay, on April 1st, they issued $20 million worth of 5-year bonds at 9% at a market effective rate of 8%, receiving cash of $20,811,000. Now, is that a premium or a discount, folks? I've got it on a premium, don't I? All right. Just wanted to see if you all were paying attention. All right. Now let's look at it. Now, what I'm saying, we can take these present value tables in the back of the book and we can find this amount. I'm not going to have you do that this semester, but we could do it. Because we got two different rates up here, a 7 and an 8. We can go to those tables and calculate present value. But anyway, you're going to debit what? For how much? And you're going to credit bonds payable for how much? Credit bonds payable for how much? No.
10 million.
10 million. Your bonds are 10 million. Now, Amy, if you debit and credit both the same amount, how do you get a premium or discount put in there?
Do you put the discount on the first entry?
Yes.
Okay.
We haven't done that yet. So do we debit or credit a discount?
Yeah.
Debit, it's like an expense. All right? So how much is that, Fraser, if you subtract 9594 from 10 million? 403,585, if I'm looking at that right. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. Now let's get that interest rate there. Let me see. Everybody's better write that interest down correctly.
I'm confused, like thoroughly.
Where are you getting 7,000 from?
That's 7,000.
Huh?
That's on the second entry, that's the second one, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Apparently
Raise
I
that
didn't.
too. All right. Now, all you gotta do is this one right here, right? Is debit discount on bonds payable for the debit.
Okay,
Debit discount right there in the word.
okay.
Lisa, you got this stuff.
So I
down.
But like this.
That's what
This
it
is
is, that,
here,
that.
and then this,
Yes, it's 3.5%. Half of seven. Half of seven. Yeah. This part I got, I'm trying to figure
Hold
out.
on to that, we'll get to that in a minute. But if you don't drop down the first entry for me, it's the second. And Ron, I know. Okay, Brady,
Yeah.
you pretty much got this. What to do right there, what to do right there.
Discount on bonds payable for difference.
Yeah, right up here, you have, right above that.
Hang on, minus.
Oh, okay.
Debit's very heavy.
Yeah.
Debit's discount.
Yeah. That's what it is. Discount on bonds payable.
Cash, I can write it right here. I don't know what to say, one
It's like it's.
something like that.
Where's these guys now?
On bonds paid. I have grown, you might miss that. See what you got.
Well, he's a little bit above it, but it's discount on the payable and it's the
You got straight down, you got straight down, turn around right.
Oh, you wrong.
Go straight out, Carl. Now that we can write down the first entry, we can move on to the second entry. Okay, now some of you need to ask questions when in doubt. Now, what interest are we paying? Are we paying 7% or are we paying 8%? First of all, which one do I use? Tell me. 8% is the market effective rate. Right here it says there are 7% bonds. So we use 7%. Now if we pay semi-annual, what is half of 7%?
3.5.
How do you write 3.5 as a percent?
0.035.
Decimal 0.035. Now multiply that by 10 million. That's what you're paying interest on. How much? 350,000. Well, you'll need that number, but there's another number coming. Now some of you had down 7 million. You had 7 million. You should have had half of that. Because we're probably paying what, semi-annual? Yeah, it says semi-annual. Half of 7 million. Or half of 7%. All right, now what do we do? How much is that discount up there in entry 1?
405,500.
Now I want you to divide that by how many? Now these are, how many years are these bonds? 5 years? And we're paying semi-annual. How many semi-annual interest periods are there in 5 years? Well, 10. Divide that discount by 10. That's the straight line method. And you get what? 400?
You get 40,559.
40,559, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Now, in that first entry, do we debit discount or credit discount? Alright, how do you get rid of it? Over a 10-year period. So you gotta credit that discount of 40,000, along with your cash of 3.5 million. Now, when you add them together, what do you get?
390, 559,
Right, but what is that? What is that called?
interest expense.
Your real interest expense. Your real interest expense debit. It's starting to make sense. You need to practice it more. Now, you'll need to read that chapter, you'll need to practice engage, you'll need to do some homework, and maybe it'll fall into place.
So- we add the cash and the discount bonds payable and come up with the total that we debited the interest expense? Okay.
Your discount increases your real interest expense.
There was more.
We're just turning that discount into expense over a 10-year period. Straight line method. Boy, now we're gonna get to the amortization method. And yeah, you need to know the amortization method. I'm not gonna let you buy it with that one. All right, now also in the book is bond redemption, issued bonds at a premium, works the same way. Now if we redeem bonds, we debit bonds payable, credit cash, usually. But there may be a gain. We've got to get rid of any unused premium or discount. So we're gonna have to practice this come Tuesday. We've got some other concepts to look at today. Now, notes payable. Back when I first got my first car, they charged me 6% interest. Alright, I borrowed $2,000. Now, what is 6% interest on $2,000? What is it, $120? What is it?
Something like that.
Probably 120.
Alright, they charged me $120 every year. And, they'd add that $120 in with the 2,000 and of course that's divided by 12, whatever they need to do. But that was not a true interest rate. I was paying 6% on the whole 2,000 for the whole 3 years. But I was paying them some back. And that was illegal later on, when we got the Truth in Lending Act. And they've got to disclose to you what the true interest rate is. So, here, we borrowed cash on a note, that's easy. But it says issued installment note for cash. Installment note. Now, if we look at the information here, the note's 24, right? Interest rate is 6%. Term of the note is 5 years. And we're gonna pay annual payments. All right, somebody multiply that 24,000 times 6%. Multiply 24,000 times 6%.
1440.
$1,440? Is that right? All right, now divide 24,000 by 5 years.
4,800.
Now, if we take the 1440 and put it on to 4,800, that would give us our first annual payment, but they've got a different amount here. So I want you to look at the table on page 689. Look at this table. All right, 1440, you calculate that correct, right? Did you calculate 1440, 42?
Yeah.
All right, now if we're making this kind of payment, how much is that going to decrease to notes payable? 4258. You're going to still owe 19,742. Now next year you only pay interest on the 19,742, and you're paying a bigger part on the principal every year. Less interest, more principal, until finally you paid the principal 24. You paid this much interest, all right, and you made this much payments. That's an installment, notes payable. Who has a car payment? Nobody has a car payment? Well, you're lucky. Okay? Alicia, do you own a car? And you don't owe for it.
I don't.
How many of you own a car that your mom and dad owes the payments on it? Brooke and Alicia. All right. This is the way an installment note on an automobile loan works, okay? You pay on the outstanding balance. And they're trying to give you a true APR when you see a table like this. Okay? It's like a house payment. Now, a house payment may run for 30 years times 12 months. So you multiply 30 times 12 and run it down. And a house payment works the same way. If you were paying this much on a house payment, that much was interest, then you're decreasing your payment by that much. And your outstanding balance is that much. But now, if you borrow $200,000 on a home, you're probably going to end up paying out $400,000 by the time you pay the interest. But now interest has went down. You can get a home mortgage now for under 4%. And that's much better than what I had it. When I bought my first home, the interest was 7 or 8%. And when I built a home, I was paying 14% interest on a home mortgage. And that's expensive. Went way down since then. Okay? So, some things are better with time, some things are not, okay? Okay, the next concept, you'll have an installment note probably on your next test. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna be on that test. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna try to catch somebody who cheats, so that person won't cheat. I don't wanna catch somebody cheating. Okay? I'm going to tell you ways I'm going to try to prevent you from cheating, and so on. One thing, I'm going to keep these screens on all period, and I'm going to make sure that my computer sees the class, and I won't be videotaping you during the test. I'll raise this up with books and what have you. Anyhow, I don't want to catch anybody cheating. But if you cheat, I'll catch you. Okay? Maybe not on the first test, you got away with it. But not on the second test. Okay? It's not fair. It's not fair to somebody who studies, does their homework, comes to class every day. Alright? Okay, now, generic entries here and long-term liabilities. But here's where we're going to. We're going to the appendix. We're going to the appendix for a few minutes. Now, we did straight line. We practiced straight line amortization on that problem you all just wrote down. We just divided the discount by 10, or divide the premium by 10. If it were 10-year bonds, you divide by 20. All bonds are not 5 years, it's okay, they can be 10 or more. All right, now, this is just present value here. And, I was asking Alicia. Alicia must have understood present value. Because in a divorce settlement, that $100,000, 10 years from now, she was willing to take it right up to $60,000, then she had doubts. And we were talking about if it was 10 years and the going rate of interest was 6, she could take 55,833. Because if you multiply decimal 55839 by 100, you know you're going to get 55,839. Okay, that's present value. Now, if you have a rich relative and they're going to leave you $1 million. All right, $1 million in 10 years, you'll inherit $1 million. You know, if the going rate of interest was 10%, multiply that $1 million by decimal 3855, and it's worth $385,000. Now, how do you think they do the lottery? You know, but you out there right now, Mega Millions. Let's say it was $100 million. They'll give you a paycheck today, cash upfront value, and that's present value. If the interest rate is like 4%, and you won $1 million in the lottery, they'd give you a check for $675,000 cash value. Then you pay your taxes. You pay your federal taxes, and you will end up somewhere between 1/3 and 1/2 of that lottery winnings. Okay? But I'd take it though, wouldn't you?
You're not getting nothing better from that lottery.
Do what?
You basically not getting nothing from the lottery.
Well, I'll take what they give me. Basically, it's deceiving. If you win $100 million lottery, you're not going to get $100 million. You're going to get the present value of $100 million. Might be 700,000. At one time, it was about half when the interest rate was high enough. They would pay you. They'd pay you $1 million a year over 10 years or something other, or $10 million a year over 10 years. If you want $100 million, they calculate present value, not only the lump sum but also of the payments. They were going to give you $10 million a year. All right, but that's present value tables, and that's why I told you you can calculate the discount and premium, but we won't. Okay, let's say you win the lottery and you decide not to take the cash payment. You want $10 million a year for 10 years. That'd be $100 million, wouldn't it? But you want the cash value. Well, if you wanted the cash value, this